Monsieur Pepys, so good to see you. So good to see you. You know, the streets of London are so full of dirt and filth and animal dung and all the rest of it. I nearly didn't see my friend, Monsieur Pepys. I'm so good to see you.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Pop.
Poo-poo.
Ha-ha, you just said poo-poo.
Oh, Monsieur Pepys. Monsieur Pepys. Oh, you made me laugh, Monsieur Pepys.
About your job.
Well, certainly I can. Certainly I can. Well, listen. My name is Bert, and I'm what they call a gun farmer, which can be called a nightman because I work mainly at nights and stuff. Well, that's right, okay, Mr. Boogie. What I do is I go around, there's a team of us, we go around into the cesspits and all the privies of all the city. We clear out all the Harry Potters and all the Jimmy Littles and all the rest of it. Well, certainly, Monsieur Poop, that's as good as
yes. Very smelly job,
well, yes, it is, Monsieur Poop. You know what a man's got to do. What a man's got to do, and in my case, it's to do. Oh, Monsieur Poop, you do make me laugh. Because I spend most of my nights up to my waist. And other people's waist. And you've got to be careful, though, because the job was so smelly, the fumes from all the waste, Monsieur Poop. You know about all this?
Oh, yes, mon ami. Oh, yes.
And die from all the fumes. Oh, no, tell me about it. Hey, Monsieur Poop, right? Wake up. Listen, I can't stay talking all day because I've got to get back home to my home in St. Giles, you know, but I'm a bit concerned about Monsieur Poop. It's been felt dead.
From the rubbish and poo.
Progress from the plague, you know.
Look, it's been in London many times
Well,
before.
no, Monsieur Poop, you know, this time it feels a little bit different, you know. There's all the houses all lit up and there's people outside and all the rest of it. So I've got to go. It's lovely to talk to you, Mr. Poop, you know. I've got some more work to do. And it's going to take me a wee while. Oh, Monsieur Poop, so good to see you. See ya, see ya, so good to meet you, Mr. Poop.
The 1665 plague outbreak in London began in the poor, overcrowded parish of St. Giles in the Field. Every night, men called rakers tried to clear the animal dung, rubbish and slops from the winding streets. But with open drains and sewers flowing through the centre of many, hygiene was impossible to maintain. The plague outbreak started slowly at first, but by September that year...
Good evening, rats. I'm Steve the Stink here reporting live from the Daily Vermin. And welcome, rat fans, to an update on the plague here in London this summer. You know, us rats know, of course, it isn't the fleas that like to live on us that have been carrying the plague. And of course, the fleas like jumping off us rats when we die. And thereby jumping onto the humans and giving them the plague. Anyway, rat fans, couple of questions from our viewers. The first one, Reggie the Rat asked, why are there red crosses being painted on some of the humans' front doors? Well, Reggie, thanks for your question. Well, the Red Cross is painted on the doors of those humans who have the plague as a warning to stay away, with a big sign on the front saying, Lord have mercy on us. And they're guarded by watchmen so no one can get out of the house. I hope that answers your question there, Reggie. And we have a question from Ronnie. Ronnie the Rat asks, who are these freaky-looking dudes in masks? Well, thank you for your question there, Ronnie. The freaky-looking dudes in masks are your plague doctors. And, these plague doctors, I believe they walk the streets of the humans, diagnosing the victims. You'll notice the big beak-shaped like nose is filled with herbs and spices to protect them from the putrid air, which is what I said, is what the humans believe is giving them the disease. Anyway, this is Steve the Stink reporting live from the Daily Vermin in London. Over, fans, over.
Huge plague pits were dug across the city to bury the dead, with carts loaded with bodies rumbling through the streets after dark, collecting bodies house to house. In just 1 week alone in September 1665, 8,000 Londoners had died. King Charles II and his family, along with Parliament and anyone else who was wealthy, had already left the city because of the disease, leaving the poor to be the most affected. However, one of the wealthier Londoners who did stay in London during the plague was a Royal Navy clerk by the name of Samuel Pepys.
Anyway, what do you think of my periwig here? My periwig. They're all the rage now. After the king found his first grey hair and decided to cover up the grey by wearing them. And we all started copying him. It's the height of fashion, don't you know? I bought it a good while ago. Most expensive and rather beautiful, isn't it? No? Suit yourself. Anyway, you never guess where I got it from. I got it from a wig shop! Anyway, I dare not wear it when I first bought it because of the plague and for fear of infection myself, that the hair used in the periwig may have been cut off the heads of some of the people that died from the plague. Anyway, I've been writing about these terrible past few summer months here in my diary. Samuel Pepys' diary. Aha!
Samuel Pepys was born in London in 1633, the son of a poor tailor, and through hard work and talent became a clerk for the Royal Navy. He started a private diary on the 1st of January 1660, writing in a form of shorthand invented by a man called Thomas Shelton, called tachygraphy. He wrote about his pleasures and sorrows, successes and failures, as well as giving an eyewitness account of daily British life and the turbulent events Britain faced. He was interested in everything, especially in himself.
Fortunately, I do not routinely mix amongst the poor, whom the disease has been raging through these past few summer months in a most dreadful fashion. I sent my wife Elizabeth away from Seething Lane to keep her safe away to Woolwich, and most of the Navy officers' business has also been moved out of the city. But I, for the most part, have decided to stay. But there is a great fear in the city. God preserve us!
By the time the winter arrived in December 1665, the disease had died down, as the cold weather killed the rats carrying the infected fleas. More than 100,000 people had died, a third of all people living in London at the time. By February 1666, it was thought safe enough for the king and his court to return, which encouraged other well-off residents to return with their households, and most businesses and workshops opened up. The people of London, who had managed to survive the Great Plague in 1665, must have thought that the year 1666 could only get better. They could not have imagined the next disaster that was soon about to befall them all.
All right, yeah, it's all right, isn't it? It's all right, yeah, listen. I love to see it, all right, man. I love a bit of old sliding, and I love the lady. That's right. Listen. Here's a little jokey for you. Why did the poor guy, right, leave the wig shop without a wig? Because he forgot to pay. All right. Yeah, everyone loves me, right? I'm naughty, but I'm nice. Here's another little joke for you, all right? Here's another little joke. What did the rain clown, right, wear under his raincoat? Underwear. Oh, no, nice, isn't it? Nice, right, there you go, look. All right, you stalking me, all right, look. I'll just give you one more little joke today, right? One more little joke today, look. Bonnie Hall, a jacket, it's on fire. What do you call the jacket that's on fire? A blazer. All right, yeah, hey, look, Pete, that's a bit serious for a mo. Like, speaking of fire, I'm a bit concerned, like, because, like, in the city of London, it's all made of wood and it's all very narrow streets and all that, and the buildings very close together. And I told the Lord Mayor, look, got to sort it out, right? Have I heard anything from the Lord Mayor? Nah, I didn't think so. He's a silly man, isn't he? He's a silly man. And speaking of silly, my friend, right, he comes up to me the other day and he says to me, King Charles, he said, can you remember a time when you removed your wig? And I said to him, off the top of my head, yeah, it's all right, yeah, I'm back, people, it's all right, I can't do it again, yeah.
In the long, hot summer of 1666, London sweltered, and after nearly 10 months of drought, with little rainfall, the streets and buildings were bone dry and dusty. They were built from wooden timber frames, with a lattice of sticks covered in plaster in between the timbers called wattle and daub. If well made, this is strongly fire resistant, but the houses were run down, with holes in the plaster, and with the wattle exposed could easily catch fire. Some are up to 7 stories high, each story or jetty projecting beyond the one below to allow for a larger room upstairs. This meant at the bottom the street could be the width of a cart, but at the top They were so dangerously close you could shake hands with your neighbour. Fire was an essential part of life, from candles for light and open fires for heating and cooking, but with hay in the stables, straw on the floors, pitch on the roofs and combustibles all around, the risk of a major fire happening was ever present.
Excuse me, it's Stink to Stink here from the Daily Bird.
You talking to me?
Well, yes, I'm talking to you.
Are you talking to me? 'Cause I don't see no one else here. Who you talking to?
Well, we have an interview book. It's Stink to Stink
I'm
here.
exhausted, alright? Been a long, busy, sticky, stuffy, steaming day.
Our viewers are very interested to know about the humans that live around, and we did have an interview book in last year.
Okay.
All right then. Please, can you tell me your name?
Who's there?
Me, Stink to Stink.
Oh yeah, you, yeah. Name's Fariner. Thomas Fariner. Oh, that's nice.
And where
That's
do you
nice.
live, Mr. Fariner?
What? Are you stupid? It's where you are at. Pudding Lane,
And why
London.
is it called Pudding Lane, Mr.
Funny with me yet? Huh? You getting funny with me? I got no idea.
It's called Pudding Lane because it's named after the puddings, a medieval word for entrails and organs which fall from the carts, coming down the lane from the butchers as they head towards the waste arches on the river.
Gonna be wise guy?
No, nothing, Nil, I assure you. What's your job, Mr. Fariner? Mr. Fariner, wake up! What's your job, please? What's your job? What's your job?
They call me the baker. Yeah, I get the best bread in town. The best bread in London town. Capiche?
And your family, Mr. Fariner?
The most important thing, I got 3 kids. Hannah, Mary, and Thomas. My wife, Hannah, she died last year. God rest her soul. We got a maid servant as well, helps me with the family business.
And what's the name of the very famous person who bakes
Pause with all the questions. King Charles II, I got an agreement with the King's Royal Navy and made bread and biscuits for the sailors with the war with the French and the Dutch.
Okay, Mr. Fariner, my final question, and listen carefully now. What have you forgot to put out properly downstairs this evening? Mr. Fariner, I will ask again. What have you forgot to put out properly downstairs? Mr. Fariner? Mr. Fariner? Oh dear, what an unpleasant chap, rat fans. Oh dear.
Soon afterwards, like the rest of London, Thomas Fariner and all his family are fast asleep. In his bakery there's a large stone oven which burned throughout the day, and at night as the bakery was closing, the flames would be cooled down and beaten down to ashes. On the evening of the 1st of September 1666, Thomas Fariner misses a glowing ember when he cools his ovens, and that ember lights a pile of dry firewood in the bakery.
Mr. Mr. Pizza!
Who is it?
It's your son, Jane!
What do you want?
Sorry to wake you!
What time is it?
3 a.m., sir. A fire has broken out in the city!
Well, pull back the curtains. Let me have a look. Oh, Jane, nothing to worry about. Fires happen all the time. Nothing to worry about. Just. What is it, Jane?
300 houses have already been burnt down!
My friends!
My friends, my heart is full of trouble. I just been to the Tower of London to view the fire from one of the turrets, only to see that the strong eastern wind has already turned this into a most infinite and great fire. Several churches and hundreds of houses, including those on London Bridge, are in flames, and the blaze is spreading west at a great speed. I've taken a boat to get a closer look at the destruction from the waterside, and I see the poor people have stayed in their houses as long as they can, but the very fire touches them, and they run and clamber to get into boats. Everybody is trying to remove their goods and is flinging them into the river. Poor pigeons hobble about the windows and the rooftops until the fire burns the very tips of their wings and they fall down from the sky. Woo! Earlier, I continued west down the river, and at 11 a.m. I spoke to King Charles and his brother, the Duke of York, and I told them, unless someone did command houses to be pulled down, nothing could stop the spread of the flames. They were much trouble, and the King has commanded me to go and find the Lord Mayor of London with this instruction, to command him to spare no houses, but to pull them down before the fire in every way. So here I am. I've taken a coach as far as I can to St. Paul's Cathedral, and I had to get off here. The lanes are impassable with people fleeing. Nobody is trying to quench the flames, but the fire is spreading so quickly. People are abandoning it, trying to put it out and then leave it all to fire. With great haste, I must find my way through this burning city and go and find the Lord Mayor of London himself. Woo!
At the time of the Great Fire, there was no police or fire brigade to call, but bellmen or watchmen walked the streets at night and would alert communities by ringing the church bells, who would then come together to fight the fire. By law, every parish church had to hold equipment for doing this: long ladders, leather buckets, fire squirts, and fire hooks for pulling down the buildings. These were a long pole with hooks on one end, so the timber of houses next to those burning could be pulled down, creating a fire break. Fire breaks were the main firefighting technique of the time, but this meant the destruction of property and was considered a serious matter. So in the City of London, only the Lord Mayor had the authority to allow it to take place.
Oh, but Mr. Pete, I expect the people little baby. I have given the order to now start putting down the houses, but the fire overtakes us faster than we could do it. Lord, what can I do?
The fire could have been stopped within a few hours, but many of the houses that the Lord Mayor should have ordered to be pulled down belonged to rich merchants, and he didn't want to be unpopular. However, because of his lack of leadership and failure to give the necessary orders at the right time, by Sunday evening, 18 hours after the alarm was raised in Pudding Lane, around 100 houses were burning every hour.
I hired a boat to take myself, my wife and a few friends to look at the fire. And all over the Thames, with the one's face in the wind, we were burned by a shower of fire drops. And the horrid noise the flames make and the crackling of the houses that they ruin, we could endure no more upon the river. And so we have come to this little alehouse on Bankside, and we have been watching the fire grow. As the evening grows darker, the fire appears more and more in corners, on steeples, in between churches and houses. And as far as we can see up the hill of the city, everything is on fire and flaming all at once in a most horrid, malicious flame. It has made me weep to see it.
On returning home, Pepys hears that the fire is advancing towards his house, and he starts to pack up his possessions, taking away his money, silver, and his diary. Wearing just his nightgown, he takes a cart and rides himself through the crowded, panicked streets to a friend's house outside the city. As dawn breaks, London is in complete chaos.
Here we come to save the day. All right, people. All right, Nick. Don't worry about it, people. Me and my bro, James the Duke of York, right? We're taking charge of the firefighting effort after the Lord Mayor of London, and you're going to start with Dilly. Hey, mate, I've been riding through the streets of London, holding out gold coins to people, trying to get them to stay, because a lot of them are trying to stop and leave the city, so I'm holding out gold coins to them to try and give them a little boosty encouragement. And I've also been helping hands on here through this morning, helping hands on myself with the people to try and help put out the flames. You see the warehouses at the edge of the river, and put the oil
and rope and tar and candle wax and other things. You don't want to go getting hot, and it went up in flames this morning. Everything's falling down this lot, real dreadful. It's getting hotter and hotter and hotter in here, hotter than me. And that's saying something, people. Here, before I go, a little joke tonight in the moonlight. What's fruity and burns? The Great Fire in London. Yeah, right. Here, they're not out to put them down, people. Here, have a gold coin, there you go.
By evening, the flames burned so brightly that night looked like day, and ash fell from the sky like snow. And with fat and tar stores from the warehouses pouring into the Thames, the river appeared to catch on fire, cutting off the firefighters from the water. Jammed with boats and barges piled high with goods, cart and boat owners from miles away, seeing an opportunity, flocked to the city, attracting the worst in some, who charged enormous fees to the desperate refugees trying to escape. Some rich merchants were having and willing to pay up to £5,000 in today's money to have their belongings carried to safety. For most people, however, they escaped with what they could carry.
Rock-on, stay distinct here from the Daily Vermin. The city is on fire. I urge you all to leave now. It's every rotten human for their souls. Everyone is fleeing, pushing their way through the narrow streets. That great lot with the humans bottlenecked the city gates, trying to get out with their bundles and horses and carts. They are literally running over each other. Rock fans, watch your tails, rock fans. Also be aware, some of the humans are completely lost the plot because of the humans' war with the French and the Dutch's women's, and the fire is an attack by undercover foreign agents. Mobs of humans with homemade weapons are going through the streets attacking everybody. This is the stink from the Daily Vermin. Run for your lives, rock fans! Run for your lives!
By Tuesday the 4th of September, the fire had spread over most of the city, with temperatures reaching over 1,000 degrees in the wind, more than double the temperature of a normal fire. The fire was so hot that nobody could get close enough to fight it. By the end of Tuesday, the raging fire was 1.5 miles wide.
I was up at the break of day to get away the rest of my things to safety. The remainder I am burying here, digging a pit in the garden with my friend to save, amongst other things, our wine and, of course, my beloved Parmesan cheese. But my friend, the fire moves with infinite fury. I am now witnessing the destruction of St. Paul's Cathedral itself. The stones of St. Paul's are so hot they fly through the air like grenades, and the melting lead from the roof running down the streets like a stream, with the very pavements glowing in fiery redness. My friends, it is a sight more awful than anything one could imagine. These loud explosions are frightening more people than anything, I fear. It is the Duke of York soldiers and some commanded sailors, hundreds of them, now using gunpowder to blow up the houses in Tower Street next to the Tower of London to create wider fire breaks. If Aegis stops the fire reaching the tower, or we are all truly doomed.
The Tower of London was the biggest munitions store in the country, with 500 to 600 tons of gunpowder stored inside. If the fire reached those, the resulting massive explosion would see all the houses for miles around vanish in a flash. At 2 a.m. on Wednesday the 5th of September, Samuel Pepys' wife wakes him up. The wind has changed direction, and the fire burns perilously close to his house. But by Wednesday evening, the use of gunpowder to create fire breaks, and the wind finally dropping, saw the flames begin to die down. The fire starts to lose its hold, halting its further spread eastward and stopping at the end of Pepys' street, leaving his house untouched.
This afternoon I climbed the steeple of Barking Church, from which I viewed the destroyed city, the saddest sight of desolation I've ever seen. There are still so many separate fires still burning, but after 4 long days and 4 nights, the Great Fire is finally over.
The fire left a vast trail of destruction, with 5/6 of the old city a smoking ruin buried under 6 foot of charcoal rubble. Officially, just 5 deaths were recorded, but it is believed that there were quite possibly several hundred or several thousand people either incinerated by flames or dying from indirect deaths afterwards. Over 13,500 houses, 87 churches and 44 company halls were destroyed, leaving over 100,000 people homeless and on the brink of starvation with no food or drink. In Moorfields, north of the city, huddled in shacks and tents, a great camp of homeless refugees arose.
Which basically going to get you all some outline. Alright, here we go. You want to read it? Here we go. Listen it. First up, Hemo, the supplies of bread will be brought into the city every day to feed you people. Alright, yeah, alright. We can have like collections of money made to the churches throughout the country to help you all out. Alright? Streets are going to be cleared and we're going to have like new markets created so everyone can get back to business. By law, no new buildings is going to be built from the wood, only the brick and the stone. That's good, isn't it? Yeah, that's nice. And listen, probably most importantly, I'm going to treat myself to some brand new, spangy, sparkly, spingly wigs. Alright, that's nice, isn't it? It's nice. Listen, let's face it, Pete. Let's face it all. It's been a rubbish few years, isn't it? It's been rubbish, isn't it? All that ghastly civil war business and wars with the Dutch and stinky old plague and all that. Nah, what a load of old paints, isn't it? I know a load of old paints. But listen, I'm going to say to you all, right? Say to you all, our city is fallen, but it can be rebuilt, right? Many have died, but they will be remembered. So now, like, let us begin. Alright, and remember, Pete, remember this, right? Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but rising every time we fall. That's pretty good now, isn't it? Yeah, it's really good. Alright, we're going to be alright, Pete, alright. Yeah.
People start to argue how the city should be rebuilt, and famous architects Christopher Wren and Robert Hooke designed completely new layouts for the gutted city. But ultimately, most new houses and public buildings are rebuilt on their previous sites and street plans.
I'm still here. Me and Monsieur Boop. I survived the plague and the fire. Mes enfants, and New London slowly emerged from the ashes of the Great Fire with a new St. Paul's Cathedral designed by Sir Christopher Wren, Monsieur. And under King Charles' orders, a monument to the Great Fire was built. Samuel Pepys died in 1703, mes amis, age 70, but left us his amazing diary telling us about the plague and the fire. And within 100 years, Britain became a world power, and at the center